I just wanted to be upfront, and I just wanted to be a little dramatic. I am who I am, and if nothing else, I'm a person who loves to use Moonlight Sonata to add some theatrics to a mundane situation. As I was watching this video, and actually as I was filming it, I was thinking a lot about failure and frustration. A little backstory. If you're new here, I like to cook, and I cook a lot, and I often get asked to share recipes, which is something that I am terrible at doing. And I'm not bad at sharing recipes because I'm a bad cook. I think I'm actually a pretty good cook. I'm bad at sharing recipes because I can't seem to ever replicate the same recipe. And as soon as I think I have something down and I try to film it, I fuck it up. Case in point, these goddamn motherfucking sweet potatoes. Now, it's not that I never share recipes, but by the time I do share a recipe publicly, I have made that thing upwards of 30 times. And even then, I'm really not sharing exact measurements because every time it tastes a little different. I don't write things down, and when I do try to write things down, like I did here, I fuck it up. And sometimes I think that the older I get and the more time I spend doing a thing, in this case making sweet potatoes, the less likely I am to fuck it up. But unfortunately, that's not the truth. And in moments like these where I'm filming and trying to create something that maybe feels a little bit out of my comfort zone, I think I just expect that it's going to go well because I'm filming, like as if that is some magical key into things going well. Because it's like, hello, I'm trying harder here. I'm putting in the effort. I'm like chopping things a little bit better and like getting the angles right and trying to make, I don't know, an aesthetically pleasing video and a delicious recipe all at once. And I fool myself into thinking that the effort matters. And this isn't like a woe is me video with my sweet potatoes, so just stay with me here. But I think, yes, effort does matter, but often we're told that if we try hard enough and work hard enough at something, then the outcome is an inevitability, that it is going to be positive no matter what if we work hard enough. And realistically, like, I know, and I'm sure you know, that's just not the freaking case. Does hard work eventually pay off? I don't know, sometimes it's about luck, sometimes it's about fate, and mostly I keep coming back to just allowing myself to surrender to the divine path, which is something I've been desperately trying to do for, I don't know, like ever. Well, at least a decade. And I think finding quiet, simple ways to connect with yourself and like, I don't know, the higher consciousness is really nice. And I think cooking for me is a really great way to do that because it feels directly nourishing to myself, to my body, to my loved ones. It also is very manual. It's something I do with my hands. And I would say altogether, it's like a very pleasant, still experience for me, which is why it's even more frustrating when I fuck up, because then I question myself. Did I do something wrong? Was I not paying enough attention? Was I too cocky? Was I too arrogant? Did I skip an important step? Like, what did I do? And sometimes, like, yes, obviously, I did something here and I will point it out to you as I'm doing it. But I think the neurotic and very human need to blame gets in the way of our lessons and the things that we could learn from our failures, from our mistakes, from like existing as human. And I think with blaming also comes shaming. And for people in general, but I think for people like me, maybe you're someone like me, I confused blaming myself for taking accountability for things. And you can take accountability for something without blaming yourself and shaming yourself and dwelling on the fuck up, on the failure, on the mistake, and missing the lesson and missing the experience and missing the repair and the things that you can learn from it. And it's funny because I feel like the hardest place to make mistakes is also the most likely place that you're going to make mistakes, which is just when you're doing something new. And here I am like measuring stuff in a cup. I like don't cook like this at all. I never cook like this. And I was trying to like be a little bit more thorough and do something new, and I totally fucked the sauce up, and it like in my opinion, ruin my potatoes, but we'll get there. But it's like making mistakes is such an obviously natural and necessary part of life, and it's so often where we learn and we make mistakes as we're learning something and as we're doing new things. And it's really easy to get discouraged and to be hard on yourself when you're making a mistake as you're doing a new thing, which is the most obvious time you'd be making a mistake. And like, even if it's not something new, I feel like every day, every moment is a new experience. And no matter how many times we repeat the same thing, no matter how many times we come back to the same activity, whether that be cooking or yoga or going for a walk or singing or watching TV, with repetition, we get new insights. That's why I love rewatching shows. I see something new. That's why I love rewatching movies. I pick up on a little nuance. Something new stands out to me. And I think that same energy applies with anything that we're repeating, anything that we're revisiting. And I think sometimes the more we revisit something, this isn't me saying you should like watch the same movie a million times unless you really want to, but I just feel like the more we revisit something, the more we can learn from something. And I really just think that we need to go easier on ourselves. Like, you need to go easier on yourself. I need to go easier on myself. I find myself in these little moments of messing up something small, like burning potatoes, being so hard on myself and feeling so defeated and so discouraged. And I feel like if I didn't have people around me sometimes to pull me out of these holes, I would beat myself up all day over burning some potatoes when ultimately it's not that big of a deal. And it helped me figure out how to make them even better. And here's where I realized that I burned my potatoes.
It smells really good.
Thanks. I fucked these up.
What'd you fuck up?
Look at them. They're burnt.
Oh,
I don't
they
know.
look yummy.
Do they? I don't know what happened.
Were they not kind of black last time we had them?
No, not like this.
Really? Did they taste bad?
I don't know. This is this is why I make recipes in a row, like day after day, because I just can't remember what I fucking did.
Yeah.
They just taste different. And they're burnt. I just don't really know what happened.
They're definitely not the same.
I'm bummed.
I'm sorry. They're not bad though.
They're not bad. They
taste good.
And I think they'll be good with dinner. Like, I'm not like worried.
Yeah.
It's like they're just not what I wanted. And I've been fucking filming this whole fucking time trying to do that recipe. And it's literally, I don't know how I fucked it up, and it makes me want to cry.
Aw. You want a hug or?
No. I'm just frustrated.
Do you want to slap my hand really hard with frustration? You sure?
Yeah. I just want the potatoes that I liked so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Those aren't them. Those are just like little spicy burnt nuggets.
They taste way more like sweet potato than burnt. I can't even really taste that they're burnt, to be honest. But they don't taste like what you made before.
I know. I don't know what happened.
That was more of a candied with like a soft inside.
I don't know what happened.
Because you were steaming. I saw you steaming.
Yeah.
Right?
I wonder if I added too much sugar. Because last time I feel like they weren't sweet enough last time. And so I'm wondering if I just added too much sugar and then that got burnt.
Right.
Because that can happen.
That's a good point.
And you know what? I did cry. I also fucked my tofu up. As you can see right here, I'm getting frustrated. And I turned the camera off and I cried. But we are trying again. It has been 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks since I filmed that video and sulked about it and felt frustrated and felt like I wasted my time and yada, yada, yada. And then I finally said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm making these potatoes again. And I know this is all really dramatic for some potatoes. It's so dramatic, but baby, I can make a metaphor out of anything and I can find meaning in most things. And honestly, this whole potato journey has been really interesting and fruitful, not just because the potatoes that I'm currently making are so fucking delicious and incredible, but also because I feel like it's helped me release the perfectionism around things like YouTube, around cooking, release some perfectionism around my fucking self. And so I'm going to briefly talk you through the process of this recipe, and I will write out the recipe and put it on my substack. So first thing I did is chop the potatoes and steam them. You can boil them, and I have done that, but that adds a bit more water into the potatoes, and I just didn't like it as much. And so I'd recommend steaming them, but you can also boil them. Then I coated them in sesame oil and some salt and put them in the oven at 375 for about 20 minutes. I made this little sauce. Like I said, I'll put the ingredients in the recipe, but you could see a lot of them. I didn't really measure, I just kind of eyeballed it and I tasted it as I went. But I feel like cooking it beforehand and making kind of like a glaze essentially was really, really helpful, and adding less sugar than I did the time before. So I added about 2 tablespoons of sugar. And I cooked it on the stove for truly less than 5 minutes, just giving it a little taste here and there. And I think you can really modify it as you'd like, add more spice, add more sweet. I think the one thing that really set it apart was I added just a little bit of cinnamon, and oh my gosh, so good. So about after 20-ish minutes, I took the potatoes out and then I coated them with this little glaze that I made. I really think there's a lot of ways you could take this glaze. You could probably add miso and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm rambling because it was really delicious and I feel like I actually know how to make it now. So I coated the potatoes in this glaze and just mixed it up. They're pretty much already cooked here. Like they were already pretty much cooked when they went in. They were like fork tender, but mixed them up, made a little space, and then I just threw a little bit of broccoli into the dish with it just to kind of, I don't know, this was my dinner, so I didn't want to just eat potatoes. Potatoes and broccoli feels way more balanced. Cooked this for another 20 minutes. You can see it was like starting to get like a little bit burnt, but it wasn't. This was so good. It smelled so good. It tasted so good. I fucked up again though. I went to film myself eating. I set the camera down and like the button turned it off. And so I filmed a whole little me sitting at the table doing cute things, eating, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. And part of me is like, these fucking potatoes are cursed, but who cares? Why does social media have to be a highlight reel? I'm so sick of only seeing the good parts. Not that this wasn't good, but like I messed up. I kind of felt like a failure and it still turned out okay. And I think that stuff's important to share too. So be nice to yourself, enjoy your failures, enjoy your successes, and thanks for being here.